You are listening to Red Wizard Says. For more information, go to redwizardcollage.com. Red Wizard Says, I want you to leave no stone unturned. And I don't mean this metaphorically. For the rest of the week, when you are walking to the store or you're going outside to test out your bottle rocket collection, every time you see a stone, turn it over. Small stones, big stones, gravel stones, any kind of stones. Crouch down, lean over, and turn the stones over. Even if you're walking through the Target parking lot and you walk through a stone bed, turn every single stone over. Now, you might find a few things. Perhaps you'll find some worms, or some larvae, or some ants and other insects. Boy, do they like the moisture and protection that the rocks afford them. Now, make sure if you do find those bugs to eat a few of them and then turn the rock over so you could gain their spirit and their technology by assimilating their chemical compounds into your body system. Now, perhaps when you're in your backyard and you're overturning these stones, you might find an old toy like a G.I. Joe or a tiny green army man. Now, I know how to divinate, meaning I can fortune tell depending on what type of inanimate objects you find in the soil. So, if you find a green army man that is holding the bazooka, you better watch out. You might get a promotion or your cat might die. But if you find the green army man that's kneeling down and talking into that jumbo walkie-talkie, that is a message from God, and he wants to tell you to chill the heck out. For God's sake, stop turning over those rocks. You've turned over enough. That's what he is saying, or she. Now that you've turned over every rock in the neighborhood and you've gotten the divine message, it is up to you to spread the word about the tiny green army men. Now, tiny green army men were a very popular toy in the 1950s and 60s when everybody came back from World War II and they were still shooting bazookas and machine guns and using really big walkie-talkies every day before they walked to their job in the factory to make tennis mobiles and automobile carts for the Americans. Now, maybe you prefer to get to work in a blimp or a hot air balloon, but you have to remember power lines are very dangerous when you're in a hot air balloon, okay? You want to avoid shock or any kind of dismemberment that may occur when you smash full speed into a power line. This has been a very important week for me as a creative individual and a wizard. Recently, I had a dream, and the dream I believe to have been a transmission from the muse from the deceased artist Salvador Dali. In my dream, I was at my friend's house. His name, we call him the Burn Turn, because back in high school when he played soccer, he had a signature move called the Burn Turn. So I was at Burn Turn's house, and the Burn Turn's a chef, but the Burn Turn wasn't in the house, but Dave Chappelle was, and Dave Chappelle was dressed up as Colonel Sanders, and he told me a very important message. He said, artists and Americans, we live on a steady diet of peanut butter sandwiches. Now, for me, that was a very important message. Then, I noticed that Dave Chappelle had two mouths. That's right. He had two mouths, and he walked over to the Burn Turns oven, and he said, "Gravy." And there were two roasts on the top of the stove in those foil pans that you typically use when you're making a turkey or something like that. And he pinched the two foil tins into funnels, and then he lowered himself down and he poured the gravy into both of his parallel mouths. Now, I awoke thinking that there was somebody in my house because I heard a tapping just on the other side of the wall. I couldn't sleep anymore. It was about 5 a.m. In my vivid dream that was a communication from the muse had my heart racing. So I got up, I went downstairs, and I saw nothing. There was nobody in my house. I was relieved. But boy, did I need a coffee. So I decided to wake up and make artwork in honor of the muse of Salvador Dali. And I don't think any of this would have happened if I hadn't eaten a peanut butter sandwich immediately before bedtime. This has been the Red Wizard Says podcast, your weekly inspiration for your every day of the week. Thank you.